Can we get some more questions? For those of you in the audience, we've got about 5 minutes left, so please keep it short because I'd love to fit a couple more.
I know, because I like to talk.
I know, because Tashina up here thinking all the time, okay?
I'm sorry.
She do.
And they ain't even paying me.
It's your community service woman. Why you up here talking about helping out your kids?
Look at it now. Somebody get us some free orange juice.
And my question is, not every opportunity is a bad opportunity. So in the media industry, what wisdom would you offer when a lot of opportunities are thrown at you and you're so worried about, if I don't take this, I'm not going to be successful. But what wisdom?
Brandon, do you want to answer this one?
How you know I want to?
Because I felt the spirit,
spirit.
I feel it.
I just turned down a DC comic situation that everyone thought I was crazy with because it just wasn't leading me to do that. Everything that is what's for you is for you. You got to really understand that. And if something in that, in what you want to do, you got to really, I believe personally, and I know I keep talking about this, this is the only thing that have worked for me, and from my personal experience, is that what you want and what you need can be met I believe if you project what you want and you pray on it and you really meditate, it will come to you. I promise you it works. I mean, you'll get all these other distractions. I know we have bills to pay. I know we got things to do. I know, look, but you'll be happier waiting, I feel like, on that right thing. So don't be discouraged because sometimes your faith gets tested. But when that right thing comes, it's like, if any woman here is waiting for the right man and they got the right man and it's like it clicks. When I got married, I knew she was the one for me. Everything was perfect, so it'll be a marriage that's something that you really will click in your spirit. So I say don't get weary in your well-doing and just keep the faith and you can do it. That's all I got to say.
I think it's really, really important, as students and you're trying to venture into, the workplace, one, it's you have to carry a crown before you wear one. And it's so important to, start in a place where you can learn, you can grow, and you can understand the industry. Before we can challenge a system, we have to understand it. And so many times, especially the millennial generation, it's like, I want to be, the top right now. I want to be known right now. I want to be, famous, or I want to have this right now. All that will come if you're excellent. And I don't believe excellence comes unless you have service. So when you're thinking about the job, don't think scarcity. The truth of the matter is, as difficult as it may be for African American voices, especially in the media, you're also a rarity and you're needed. So know that you have value. So don't make a job decision by saying, I won't have a lot of opportunities. There are great opportunities, but do the ones that align with where you want to go. And also, don't think anything is beneath you. Because so often, come on, seriously, like we all still have to, go in there and fight for things we believe in. And sometimes when I talk to, students that are trying to make it, they're like, I don't want to do that. When we all got started, it was like unpaid, getting coffee, getting dry cleaning, you know what I mean? Driving people around, but it prepared the way for where we are now. So be encouraged, there are great opportunities, but also don't be afraid to put in your time and do the work.
Just to piggyback on that in terms of education, to me, education is power. It changes lives, it changed mine, but a lot of times when you see people on stage doing what they do, you don't really see the grit and the grind behind it. You don't really see how much education they had to go through to get to where they are. And I remember specifically my son who, he did like one commercial one time when he was in high school. And then they were like, no, we're gonna try to get him to do, more acting. And I was like, no, he's going to college. He's going to go to college because he's going to be empowered, he's going to be educated so that whatever he chooses to do after that, he'll be informed, invested, and all of that. And then, of course, he ended up graduating and doing whatever he needed to do after that. He's only been out of college a year. But my point is, education is power. You do whatever you need to do the grind, to pay the dues, to get where you need to be.
But what I want you to talk a little bit about is improving and increasing the relationship between successful Black folks and Black journalists, because we are losing our Black journalists.
Yes, we are.
But I want that to go both ways. So talk a little bit about how we can improve that relationship to make sure that we're helping each other. And thank you so much for saying that.
You let me know what you want to convey. I get people all the time, Tashina, can you post this? Can you post that? And I don't have a whole lot of followers. And actually, most of my followers come from Brazil. There are over 200 million black people in Brazil that consider me as their mother. Isn't that crazy? And I did not know that because here, the networks are not going to let you know your power here. But because of social media, and because of journalism, and because of the journalists, the black journalists in Sao Paulo and places, they allowed me to see, wow, I am a lot more powerful than what I thought I was. And I want to always use my power in the right way. We all have stories to tell. You are my voice. You all in the audience are our voices. So I have to make sure that we talk to one another. So I always give interviews with the small, like I would interview one time in a parking lot. You know, it doesn't. I have to make sure that I conduct myself in a way where, okay, everything is done in decency and order. But I'm not just going to I'm just going to interview for the big networks. No, I'm going to interview. I always notice a little black man standing over in the back corner. I'm like, yeah, I want to interview with him. That's what it takes. That's what it takes. But you know,
That's a great bridge, though, to our next segment.
Yeah.
And we were asking all of you to offer a challenge to the media, you, our future media, and activism here. We do not have a lot of time for this segment. Tashina, okay?
I'm not going to.
We ain't got a lot of time for this.
Shoot, ask me a question.
No, that was a good one. That was excellent because it's very important that our young journalists hear this as well. That's major.
read. We
Because
must
you do
read.
need to know their names. And we talk about George Timothy. How about you promote our black directors, okay? How about you look on their social media pages and see what's coming out and put that in your entertainment section? That's real, you know what I mean? It doesn't take much. I just want to hear from some of our panelists of what you would charge our future journalists with to do when they take on these roles, when they're in their power, when they're walking in their power, as Tashina said. Brandon, can we start with you?
Oh God, real quick. Never be afraid to stand up for what you believe in, and always believe in yourself, believe in your faith, and I challenge you to be the best you can be. That's what I'm saying.
You know, I would say just stay encouraged because I think, you know, once you find out your purpose on this earth, then nobody can take that away from you, no matter what is surrounding, if there's racism or whatever. And know that we need you. I know as an actress, you know, it's nothing more exciting when I get a script and I'm auditioning and the words just fall off the page. I don't have to create it, I don't have to do much work. It is just magic.
Great. I would just say keep telling stories that, you know, that's been lost. Stories is part of our histories. I love reading about things I never knew about, or I love reading about things in Detroit over the last 2 days. I've just been, you know, been learning things about Detroit that I didn't really know. I haven't been here in like 20 years. So I just think just having the courage to tell stories and fresh stories and new things that we don't know about, I think that's very important. Okay.
I think for me, I think the big thing in this industry is persistence. I always say to people, it's a game of attrition. The amount of people you start with and the amount of people you end with, it's a pyramid. I think the people who make it at the top of the pyramid are usually the ones who just kept going. And then I think the second thing for journalists in particular, for anyone who wants to work in a newsroom, especially at the editorial level of being an editor or managing teams, is kind of pick your battles. And you kind of have to know from the beginning what hills you're willing to die on, but you shouldn't be willing to die on every hill. Yeah.
You know, interestingly enough, the tagline to George's new film is "Find Your Voice," and I think that is the key thing. You know, as a journalist, just find your voice. Please don't feel compelled to mimic anyone else's voice. Find what your passion is about. Hone it. Understand where your voice fits in the world, and as you narrow your focus on where your passion is and where you've actually studied to show yourself approved, your voice will take on a sound that others will want to hear. And we need unique voices coming to light now, and we need unique voices to rise, and you have a unique voice, continuing to fine-tune it and do whatever needs to happen, so that as you do it, because you may be worried, oh, people aren't going to hear me. No, trust me, the more unique, the more rare you are, the more valuable you will become. And it may not be revealed for 10 years, all right? But stay in it, because if you do, you will win, I guarantee you.
My motto is, it's nice to be important, but it's more important to be nice. And when you're nice, and when you operate in your gift, things will come. And just know when they come, be ready for it.
I would say, do your due diligence and be great. We pass on information so quickly. Journalists. Rochelle Riley does her due diligence. Do your due diligence and be great. My father, he came up from Queens, New York, ran in St. John's, got into the State Department, worked. He switched gears at age 40. Started doing radio, was getting nothing at a station in DC called OK 100. Back when news had to still be on radio. It was a long time before he joined. It was Sheridan Broadcast Network, became American Urban Radio Network, and then ultimately became the first black president of the White House Correspondents Association. A colleague of my father's is here, a guy named Brian Cook, who started his own media company, Sky Media, and I would love to see this panel give him the exclusive because he's here independently. Shout out to Brian Cook of Sky Media. There he is. But my father planted that seed. My niece, Brianna Ellison, you can look her up. She went to James Madison, which has a very acclaimed journalism program. She just jumped straight out of college and is now the editor for the Washington Post Express. And so he planted that seed. He did his due diligence. He was great. You talk about it not being revealed till later. His granddaughter, who he didn't get to live to see get to this position, is an editor at the Washington Post, which is one of the main publications holding 45 accountable. So you gotta do your due diligence and be great. We need y'all. We need y'all. A lot of people can't write. Y'all gotta keep writing. It will be valuable.